where you are in the world and what you're working on, what intervention you might be working on. Let's just hear a little bit from you. So feel free to type that into the chat group while we wait for the rest to come in. Where you are in the world. Great. We'll just hang on another couple of minutes. Lots of my colleagues are in the call today, so they'll be on hand to reply to your questions or your responses. So feel free to type away throughout the session today. Just a couple of housekeeping rules. As per normal, we do ask if you can turn your mics off. That's always helpful. And we will have a question and answer session, hopefully, towards the back end of this webinar. So that will give us an opportunity to speak up if needs be. I still see a few people coming in, so I'm going to give it one more minute. The session is being recorded, so I just want to let everyone know the session's been recorded. So we will be able to send this out to you guys if you haven't been able to make it today to watch the rerun later on. Okay. See lots of conversations going on in the chat group. If you've just arrived, people are just typing in where they're from and what intervention and a little bit about themselves. So great to see. Great to see a nice interactive session. Okay, so I think we can probably get started and we can let the others come in. We've got quite a lot to get through today. Very, very excited to share you the details about the Restore Insight Early Adopter Program, which we'll be running through today. So my colleagues, myself, Max, who will be doing a bit of a platform demonstration, are here today. We also have Ruth, Marina, Anissa, and Mick, who are doing a couple of the technical things on the back end, but we'll also be here to help answer questions throughout the session. So Anissa, if you can just go on to the next slide for us. So before we start, what I'm going to do is run through the agenda of today's session. So as you know, you're all a part of the Restore community already, and I know you're all familiar with the platform. But we're going to take this little bit of an opportunity at the start of this session to actually we'll run some polls, so make it a little bit interactive because we have some questions that we actually want to ask you guys as well. So Anissa, if you can go into the next slide. So yeah, we'll do a bit of an introduction. I'll do a bit of a recap on Restore as well. And then we'll dive into the more of the nitty-gritties about what this Restore Insight Early Adopter Program is. My colleague Max will then share you a bit of a platform demonstration, a bit of so far what the dashboard looks like, and then we'll run some question and answer time at the end. So it'll give an opportunity if people have some questions they want to speak out in front of the group, then we'll have a bit of time for that as well. Or we'll just pick out some questions that you guys have written in the chat group throughout this session as well. So Anissa, on to the next slide, please. So before we start, we're actually going to share you some polls. So if you could take a couple of minutes out of your time here now to answer these questions. So Marina, if you can go ahead and share the first question. So the first one is very, very simple. We kind of just want to get a gauge of where you are and where you're working on. So which region does your work focus on? So I'm getting lots of answers straight away. Not many in Oceania and North America. That might be a time zone. Lots in Africa. Africa coming out on top at the moment. Okay, great. We might just go for another 5 seconds. Wonderful. Okay. So I think that's Africa coming out with 25%. So a quarter of you on this call from Africa. Fantastic. Marina, if you share the next poll, please. Okay. So asking back to you, why did you join this webinar on Restore Insights today? So we've listed a number of different reasons. So it'll be great to hear from you guys exactly what problems you're hoping that the solution can solve. Okay. Wow, this is really good. Getting such a varied amount of results here. Improve transparency, track and report projects. Explore better ways to communicate impact to funders and partners. Excellent. Okay, we'll let it run now until the minute. A couple more seconds. Okay, thank you, Marina. Very, very useful. Thank you so much. We'll share these results as well in a follow-up email at the end of the session. Thank you, Marina. Thank you for that. That's very useful. And thank you for taking the time for answering those questions. Okay, on to the next slide, please, Anissa. So very, very early on, as Restor, we got dubbed quite quickly as the Google Maps for nature. This is, really because we are trying to bring all actors into the one platform, into the one space. It's not just conservation, restoration, and regenerative farmers. It's, we're trying to bring the verifiers, the certifiers, the funders, other points of interest like tree nurseries, plant nurseries, whatever it may be, just really be that home and that hub for the restoration movement. And really the way we're thinking about things now is we have the Restore for Everyone platform, which is the platform that you all know, the platform that you go into. It was really there to democratize the data, scientific data, to make it freely and accessible to anyone and everyone around the world. And we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to improve the platform, and we'll continue to try and provide the best in-class, latest available global data sets. Quite recently, we've just added some new ones around risk data, fire, flood, erosion risk data sets. So we'll continue to do that and update the current data sets. But really, we have these other two pillars that we're really working on that's very aligned with the mission that we're trying to achieve at Restore. And one pillar is to help facilitate financial flows into restoration projects. And we're doing this in many, many different forms. There's a funding opportunities page. We're running prize competitions. I think the most latest one that a lot of you would already applied for is the Restore Life Prize Award, which is in partnership with the G20 GLI. We will continue to bring more of these prize awards to the platform, and even with the G20 GLI, as we strengthen that relationship, in the years to come, there'll be more competitions and more prize categories within that one as well. The other side of that is we're also working with corporate impact funders, where we recommend projects from our user base to them directly. And we're continuing to look to refine that process, bringing in different ways of verifying projects on the platform, but also as well to allow projects to add their self-reported data, which is something that I will talk about a little bit later on in this session. Now, that pillar one, we're not going to talk about that so much. We may do another webinar on that later on in the year. But really, the second pillar is what we're working towards, which is reporting, monitoring, and improving transparency and allowing projects to showcase the work that they're doing. So this is really why we're here today and what we're going to talk about with this Restore Insight Early Adopter Program. But before we do that, let's have a quick recap on some numbers. So Anissa, on to the next slide. Our impact so far. So to date, there's over 220,000 projects on the platform, 27,000 users, and really impressively, and this is really down to you guys, there's 67 million hectares of projects in terms of, and that stems from, restoration projects, regenerative farming projects, conservation, and all sorts of interventions as a total number on the platform, which is super, super impressive. And the community has really expanded the diversity of the community as well. Obviously, the platform started out as very much for just small, locally led, community-led projects on the ground. And over the years now, this is expanded and developed. We now have multinational companies using the platform as a way of tracking and monitoring their projects that they're committing to, and also right up until government level, where we have the Costa Rican government and the Ministry of Ethiopia even using the platform as well, which is fantastic to see. Um, Now, let's talk a little bit about Restore Insights, because that's really why we're here today. So this is a solution to map, measure, and report on your nature impact. So next slide, please, Anissa. So the first question is, why did we create this? Why do we have this early adopter program? Well, really, because it came from you. It came from our user base. We've been soliciting feedback from our user base over the years, and there was really this need in having a more robust reporting solution, so you could use this solution to report to your stakeholders and your funders. But what we needed to do was find out, well, what are the problems? What are the issues that you're having, and how can we solve these? So here are some of the issues that you've relayed to us, which is a lack of standardized tool for impact measurements. So many organizations struggle to measure their impact, track progress, and assess the effectiveness of their projects. And there's also data fragmentation across multiple projects. Like, impact data is often scattered between platforms, or whether it's in your own internal management systems or whether it's not mapped yet. It's very, very difficult to measure at large scale and get aggregated data for all of your sites. And then obviously as well, it's difficulty in attracting funding and using that to report to different stakeholders and partners. So and there's been also increasing pressure to provide clear, compelling data, and to do that, it's time intensive for the NGOs. It takes you guys a long time to put that data together. So we've built this solution to help address these problems and to help solve these issues. And this partner program, this early adopter program, we will work with our early adopters throughout the year to refine our product to ensure it fits the whole community needs. Onto the next platform slide, please, Anissa. So really, as a summary, how it can help you, it can obviously map all your projects, sites, and access powerful data-driven insights in one place. Communicate your impact to partners and attract new external stakeholders with compelling visual dashboards, which we'll show you shortly. And then also the ability to highlight other partners and stakeholders that you're working with as well, so you can kind of get this holistic view of what's happening on the ground. So I'm going to break this down now into kind of the three main features, which is next slide, please, Anissa. So there's many features that we're working on, but for the sake of this webinar, I'm going to focus on three. So we're going to focus on data aggregation, self-reported data, and the seed metric, because these are all features that we're building as a part of the dashboard at the moment. So first, if we go into data aggregation, so next slide, please, Anissa. So this will give you the ability to aggregate all your sites and then receive scientific data, the aggregated scientific analytics of those sites. So these data sets include the data sets that are on Restore now, which is land, carbon, water, biodiversity, and risk layers. It'll also give you the ability to group sites based on different metrics, so or key indicators. So you can group your sites based on sites within the country, sites that are linked to a certain stakeholder or corporate partner, sites that are all part of one intervention type, for example, or other key factors to tailor however you want to put these portfolios together, which again we'll show you shortly. And this will then allow you to visualize and track your progress with an intuitive dashboard designed to help you monitor impact and report effectively, and also, extremely important, allow you to share through customized shareable links as well, to share dashboards. And we'll go into more detail about that. Next slide, please, Anissa. Now, self-reported data. Now, this is probably one of the biggest reasons why this is an early adopter program, because we want to learn more from you guys about what data you're collecting on ground, and what data is important for you to report back to your partners and stakeholders that isn't on Restore yet. Because we will build this ability for you to upload your data into the platform, and it can then sit alongside our ecological data, so then it can be visualized. So obviously, there's the most simple one. What we can use as an example here is number of trees planted. So you could give us data on the number of trees planted per year, and then we would visualize this in a graph format, and that can sit alongside tree survival rates. Or we can incorporate social data like the number of people that are being employed, or the gender equality data. So any sort of social metrics, which we know that often stakeholders and funders are often asking for as well. They're asking for the social impact, not just the environmental impact. So it'll be that ability to upload and store your on-the-ground data into the platform, and be able to access a more visual and compelling way to present your data and information. Hopefully then making it even more visible to your funders. So another thing to add here as well, we understand that this is the data fatigue and data entry of a lot of the NGOs. So we want to make this process as streamlined as possible. So we're working on APIs that can link into your own internal management systems, that can upload that data into the platform, so you're not having to manually do it. So this is another thing that, a big reason why we're doing this program is to kind of learn about what type of ways you're storing your data internally. And that, honestly, it can be as easy as just an Excel spreadsheet. It doesn't have to be too complicated, but the more we learn, the more efficient that we can build this process. And then finally, next slide, Anissa, we're quickly going to mention the seed index, which is a super exciting biodiversity index. It's a global standard measure of biodiversity or biocomplexity, ranging from 0 to 1 for every terrestrial location on Earth. It enables the assessment of biodiversity outcomes for sites undergoing regeneration, restoration, and conservation efforts. So it's still currently in its beta format, and you will be able to access it for your sites and at aggregated level through the early adopter program. So we're really also very, very keen to feedback from the early adopters about how it's working for their sites. So just to go into it a little bit more, the index reflects biocomplexity measure across ecosystems relative to its natural state. So you get a rating of 1 means the ecosystem's in its natural state. So a rating of 0 is equivalent to a completely degraded ecosystem with no biological complexity. And the closer you are to 1, or the closer the site is to 1, the more regenerative and resilient it's likely to be. So we did a whole session on this last year, and this always comes up with lots of questions. So we're happy to kind of send you that recording if you're interested. We're also happy to send you the preprint of the paper as well, because some of you who want to go into the technicalities of how the index being put together, we're happy to kind of send you all of that information. We won't have time to go into too much detail on this session today. Okay, on to the next slide, which is a poll. Okay, that means you don't have to hear me waffling on anymore. We can do another interactive poll. So Marina, please share us the poll, and then we'll go on to a nice little platform demonstration. So which of these features, so the 3 features that I mentioned, do you think will make the biggest difference to your work? So the self-reported data, the biocomplexity reading, the seed index, or the insights dashboard, and the aggregated data analytics as well. So and when we say the insight dashboards, that's the dashboard that we're going to be showing you, which you'll be able to use to share to your stakeholders and partners as well. So really interested to hear that there's always from feedback and early adopters that we've already onboarded, everyone's sort of coming on for a different reason. So super interested to hear from you all. Okay, we have 100% that's answered. So that's fantastic. Really helpful information. Thank you for answering. Hopefully that means I explained things quite well. Thank you, Marina. If you stop sharing now, that'd be great. Okay. And then we can move on to, okay, so I am going to hand over to my colleague, Max, who's going to now run you through a bit of a platform demonstration. She's going to share a screen and take you through a bit of a demonstration, what we have on the platform so far.
Great. Thanks, Gwen. So hello, everyone. I'm Maxime, a regional engagement lead at Restor, and today I will walk you through a platform demo, and more precisely on the Insights dashboard. So this is when you open Restor.eco. Again, this is all the pin drops are sites, organizations, and point of interest that have been uploaded by users of Restor. And again, we provide all these data layers. So what you see here is still the Restore for everyone. So the free version that will always remain free. So if you decide to become a Restore Insight user, this tab will be unlocked on the platform. So it brings you directly to your Insights dashboard at an organizational level. So representing all the sites that are linked to your organizational profile. You have the ability by clicking here, create portfolio, to create a portfolio, or in other words, a group of sites. And these ones, again, as Gwen mentioned, you can really, it's really up to you what you want to group your sites. So it can be a type of intervention, a specific founder that you wish to report. So for example, here we will do one for a report for 2024. Here you can add a description, which you can, of course, edit later on. And as the creation flow continues, it brings you to the site where you can select the sites. You can use the search tool over here, or you can look by countries, and you can select the sites that you want to be visualized on your Insights dashboard. A really important note is that you can add both public sites, so public sites meaning sites that are visible to anyone visiting the platform, or sites that are in private mode. As you select this, it will take you a bit more into the creation process. So you can build as many portfolios as you want. Also, you can add as many sites that you want. And for the purpose of this demo, we selected some sites of one of our early adopter, which is IPE, NGO based in Brazil. So here you can see on this portfolio, there are 14 sites. You can visualize all the sites on the map over here, and you can also directly access at the site level. And just also a quick note over here, for those of you who are not aware, this is one of the new features that we added, so the before and after slider, and we invite you to complete that on your site profiles. So on the top of your Insights dashboard, you can add pictures of your choosing. And here on the right, you can also add goals or targets, which could be tree planted, money invested, the number of jobs created, your carbon sequestered, and basically we will automatically calculate the progress towards your target over here. As we go below, so here is the description of your portfolio. So here it's really up to you what you want to talk about. You can add techniques that you use to monitor. You can speak about your founder or any other stakeholders that are working with you on these sites. And also, as here you can see, you can also add some other URLs and really to tell your story. So here, what you see are the aggregated data of the 14 sites that are part of the portfolio. So here, what you see is the total above ground biomass. Here, it's the total net primary productivity, which is the carbon which is absorbed by vegetation over time, going back to 2001 until 2024. And here also most of the data sets that you already know and that you have access at the site level. So here really it's the current tree cover against the potential tree cover, NDVI, tree cover loss, also water, some of the risk data that Gwen mentioned, etc. Also, you have the access to the beta version of the seed index, which you see over here. And you can dive in a little bit more into the details of each of the levels of the seed index, of how it's calculated. Again, this is really, as we mentioned, the first version of the dashboard. And here you will see also all the self-reported data that you reported either at a site level or on a portfolio level. And basically they will sit in alongside all the global data sets that we provide, all the aggregated data sets that are provided by Restor. Of course, at any time you can go and edit your portfolio, and also you can decide to toggle some of the data visibility. So if you don't want, for example, the data of above ground biomass to be visible on your dashboard, you can toggle it over here, and as well to this list will be added the self-reported data. Finally, the share buttons, so you can share these portfolios with your stakeholders of your choosing. You can add an expiry date to the URL. You can add a password, and yet this will create a unique URL for you to share. Finally, just I want to bring you to the last point, and one of the interesting feature also of Restor Insights is that you are able to embed either your organizational profile, so with all your public sites that are linked to your organization profile, and basically you can embed this onto your own website for the visitors of your website without being redirected to the Restor website. And also you can do that with the collections. Okay, so that's it for me for the platform demonstration. I really would like to thank our current early adopters who are helping us shape the platform, and I'm looking forward to connect with you all and onboard more and more users to the Restor Insight solution. Gwen, the floor is back to you. Thanks.
Right. Thank you, Max. And don't worry, we will send a recording because there was quite a lot of detail in that demonstration, so you can kind of go back and revisit certain things. Or always feel free to reach out to us if you want more of a one-on-one explanation into certain features. So just to give you a bit more of an overview on the launch partner early adopter program. So we plan to officially launch the dashboard as more of an on-the-shelf product in COP at the end of this year in Brazil. All roads lead to the UNFCCC COP in Brazil, and as a part of that, the early adopters will be on featuring communications on beyond branded assets as well. But more importantly, which I think is we will solicit your valuable feedback throughout the year, where you can have some sessions as well with our product team to really kind of go through some of your specific needs, and we can then look to kind of build those into this product, because this really is to serve the community. I do want to mention that, look, Restor, we operate as a non-for-profit. We have the Restor for Everyone platform, which will always remain free. And that's always the plan. However, these extra resources that we're now building, they come at huge amounts of cost to us. It's to maintain a platform like Restor, it takes a lot of development power. So we are looking to recuperate some of these costs. I do have them. They're there in the top right-hand corner. And there is a discount if you're an NGO. Now, if you're particularly interested in being an early adopter and you need this product, we're still bringing in feedback in terms of that pricing as well. It's not set in stone. We're happy to kind of take on each individual and have a different case for each individual if that price is a major blocker. We're not here. I really want to emphasize that point. We're not here to make profits out of you guys. We're just here to kind of bring some financial stability to the platform itself. So I hope that helps. Happy to kind of take any more questions around that, maybe off platform, or you can contact us directly afterwards to kind of go through those fees. But I've been looking at the chat group, and there's been some really good questions, which I think we should probably maybe revisit. Also, let's use this space now as a bit of an opportunity. If anyone wants to ask a question, just put your hand up, and we can come to you as well. So please feel free to go ahead. If any of my colleagues have been answering questions which you think are good to share with the group, please go ahead and unmute yourselves, and maybe take one of these questions that we've had so far. Okay, Joshua, I can see you've got your hand up from the GLF. Is that correct? I can see that in the top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, Joan. Hello, how are you?
Very well.
Yeah, it is nice seeing you again after UNCCD COP16 in Riyadh.
That's right.
And of
yes.
course, we had a discussion with Ruth as well, and we're really looking forward to the launch, but also to see how we can utilize Restor, because we have seen and I think it will bring some impact not only on short resource mobilization, but also in tracking our own programs and resource landscape. Yeah. Just a question is now the early bid prices, the discount prices, is it annually or is it a lifetime subscription? That's just a question
No, so
that.
look, in terms of the pricing model, we're still very early on. This is just for the year. It's like an annual subscription where you'll get access to the dashboard for the year. Now, that's not saying that it's definitely not set in stone in terms of what those prices are. We may change this up, and I think early feedback that we've been getting is people may want this more as a monthly subscription, or something that they'll be able to use for maybe 3 months or 6 months of the year when they're doing their reporting. So yeah, we're really open to kind of having different models. So this is definitely something that, we'd love to hear from our community in terms of feedback about what's the most viable for them. So yeah, still very early days and open to different models. But for now, this program is that it'll be a one-off payment, or and then you'll get that for a year. But we can also do those payments in increments if that's necessary as well.
Yeah, thank you, Gwen. Because I think most of the organizations, we put it like it is better to determine as early as possible the mode of payment if you can have also a disintegrated system that they can also pay even what they afford, given maybe you have a different payment plans. Because some of the organization, particularly the young one, we really need to have this data, but they cannot afford because of the perhaps maybe even the program they are running is much lesser, perhaps with the pricing now of the Restor. So allowing them to have an option on the payment model is important. So I think it is better also maybe to focus on the strategy. But in general, I really appreciate it. You guys are doing a great work, and I think it will make a great impact in our work.
Thanks, Joshua. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Jose?
Yeah, hi there, everyone. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, nice to meet you. I have 3 questions. The first one, it is possible to perform a bulk data upload because we currently have approximately 85,000 of polygons of information, and we need a platform that could perform this type of upload information.
Okay, so you're talking. I think what you're talking about there is like bulk uploading. So bulk uploading site data. Like it depends what format you have all your data in. Like if you have them all in shape files, KMZ, KML files, that's something that we can do. We can bulk upload on the back end, but You mentioned 85,000, which seems like a huge amount. So that's probably something that we'd have to connect you with our GIS team to ensure that that data is all formatted correctly. But yeah, we do have the ability to upload multiple polygons at once. But so it would be best to connect up with our GIS team after this call. But definitely keen to follow up on that one, Jose.
Okay, and the second one, it is possible to integrate the platform with other systems such as Firm or the Archis Enterprise environment, because we are currently using Archis for reporting purposes, but just in Guatemala, not for other people or other countries.
So we have an official partnership with the Firm platform, the FAO, where we're providing them the non-state actor data for the target 2. So that's something that is currently still in process at the moment, where we're providing that data. And the next step for us is you can actually see them on the Restore for Everyone platform. If you go into the country dashboards, you can kind of see the non-state actor data and all the country dashboards as well. And this is the data that's going to Firm.
Okay, and the last one, what do you consider to be the best option for a government institution? Because I remember that someone told me about an option that is more suitable for this type of organization.
So I'm not sure I totally understand the question there, Jose. What as in what's the best option for the government?
Yeah, you have many options to be part of the Restore platform. No, the question is if there is a specific option for a government organization to put the data on this type of platform.
Yeah, so we already have that, as mentioned before at the start of the call, we have for example, the best example I can give you is the Costa Rican government for their FONA-FIFO Payment for Ecosystem Service program. They're using Restore as a way of tracking and monitoring all of the farms they regenerated. So currently they have about, I think it's anything from 2,000 to 3,000 farms on Restore, and they're using Restore as a way of kind of just showing transparency and using the platform to help monitor the impact of that Payment for Ecosystem Service program. So obviously there's other things that we can do for governments, like we can build like their own branded maps, so their own branded version of Restore where it's just their sites. So there are further options that we can do with them, but that's definitely something that we have a separate team working on. Is our governmental partnerships and our key strategic partners. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Thanks, Jose. But yeah, please connect up with us after this call about your polygons. We're happy to kind of take that separately.
Okay, thank you, Owen.
No worries. I don't know who was first, whether it was Christopher or Andy. So Christopher, you're top left for me, so you go ahead.
Thank you so much. I have a question just around resolution. Our organization has quite a few sites, small scale sites, and there's I guess like a calibration issue that, for example, clearing of invasive vegetation will show as deforestation. There's some resolution gaps in that make the data that's being picked up on the Restore platform useful for adaptive management. And so something that we're considering is how do we close that gap and work with a platform like Restore to calibrate the algorithms to like local context so that it's picking up the right indicators or not mismatching, for example, invasive vegetation management with deforestation or canopy growth with invasive vegetation, etc. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so look, I think in an ideal world, we have everything that can go so granular at localized level that you get the data, but we operate at scale. So the first thing that we wanted to do with Restore was just democratize the data sets to make those data sets freely available for anyone and everyone to use. Obviously, those data sets, they come at some sacrifice in terms of spatial resolution. Quite often, if you put a really small site on, then the resolution of the area would also encompass outside of your site sometimes. And especially with the invasive species, I don't know off the top of my head, but I think they're at 1 kilometer scale, or the species distribution lists. Now, in saying that, to kind of help tackle that problem for this need for the geospatial data to be more granular, we are now partnering with some more commercialized data sets like Canup or Planet or Chloris, where you do get more granular data. And that will be an option for you to be able to go into your site, and then you can kind of go in, and if you want to buy the commercial data set that's going to give you more precise data, you will be able to do that. So that's kind of how we're hoping to tackle that bridge. The other one, of course, is less about the geospatial data, but it's more about the self-reported data. If you are collecting ground data, you will have that ability now to upload that and display that in your platform or in your dashboard.
That was a point of
Go on.
That was a point of interest of whether our biophysical data sets and possibly higher resolution drone imagery could help ground truth for local context, which would make the platform a lot more usable to organizations and sites that we're working with.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we want to do, and it's definitely something that we do have, like, probably more on our long-term roadmap. It's just the building that into the platform at the moment would be hugely resource intensive for us. But of course, if we get the right partner and the right funding models, we will be able to do that. So I hear what you're saying, Chris, but you're 2-3 years away from probably being able to tackle that problem at granular level. But thanks for bringing that up. That's really, it was great. Okay, we're trying to whip through these. Colleagues, feel free to answer any of these questions, by the way. Andy.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me, right? Okay.
Yep.
So I hope you guys are doing all right. I'm Andy from Malawi. So basically, I have 6 questions, right? So the first question is that what are the specific benefits do early adopters receive from this program? Have you got it right?
And I didn't quite catch that question, sorry.
Okay, let me. Okay, now you can
Andy,
hear me,
can
right?
I ask you to type your question in the group chat, and because I think there's a slight connection issue, and one of my colleagues will be able to answer your question just for the sake of time, if that's all right. I'm sorry that I think there's a slight connection issue.
Okay, I was using iPod, so I've removed it. I don't know if now you can hear me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have 6 questions actually. The first one is that what are the specific benefits do early adopters receive from the program? That is the first one. So my second question is that are there any funding opportunities or technical supports available for early adopters? I know you post like the other opportunities on the website of Restor, but maybe are there any maybe specific ones that are there for early adopters? And my third question is that is there a way to access and analyze ecosystem data, which is maybe relevant to Malawi? The other question that I have, you want to answer?
Yeah, let me try and answer those. I'll just quickly answer those first 3 before I forget the answer. So yeah, the benefits of hopefully what we've mentioned throughout this webinar, which is around the early access to the data aggregation, the ability to share and report your sites, then upload your data, upload your ground data or your self-reported data, and then also access to the seed metric as well. And then having that ability then to work with our team to kind of feed us back any of your needs, and we'll kind of that'll help shape and build the platform. In terms of specific funding opportunities directly to early adopters, like I can't promise you that. We're not linking funding opportunities directly to early adopters. However, you will be a part of our communication channels leading up to COP at the end of this year, which is also kind of leaning on our network and helping you kind of get more exposure from that perspective. There is other funding opportunities, particularly with corporate impact funders. A lot of work that we're doing at the moment about recommending projects to corporate impact funders. We will probably do a whole session on that at some point this year, because we are now building out more mechanisms around how we verify projects on our platform, and some extra steps that we're doing beyond what we're asking in terms of the mandatory metadata. But there's more of that probably to come towards the back end of this year. But yeah, I hope that answers the first couple of questions there, Andy.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Just for sake of time, Andy, if you have any more, I might ask you so we can get through the others, because there's a few more people with their hand up. If you have any other questions, please just put them in the chat, and my colleagues will be able to answer those questions for you.
Okay.
I think, Abdul, you were next.
Thank you. I am so happy to be part of you. We put data on the Restor, but we didn't receive any response. We also submit the application, one of the project in past, but we don't have any information. So maybe you can share. We are working on safe drinking water, and it is a very big issue in the world. Asia, Africa suffering by contaminated water, and we have a solution. So that solution, maybe the Restor partners can adopt and help and fix up with the people with the solution. So maybe you can see on our website and what we have submitted.
Great. Yeah, I think you're talking about the Restore Life Awards there, are you, Abdul? You submitted an application for that. I think that award application is still ongoing, and then there'll be an evaluation committee who will review the applicants, and then the announcement will be on Earth Day, I believe, on April the 22nd of this year. So we'll keep an eye out for yours. Thanks for that, Abdul. Julia, I believe you've had your hand up for a while.
Yeah, thanks, Gwyn. Thank you, Gwyn and Max, for this informative introduction again to Insights, very helpful. I have one question on whether you plan to build in a feature that you can extract data, for example, from the Insights platform as like a PDF, XFI, whatever. Is that something that you have in mind? Is that planned?
Look, that gets asked a lot. Yes. The short answer is, so when we talk about APIs, there's and look, I am not the one building an API. Apparently, it's a lot easier to build an API to bring data in. Extracting data from the platform is a little bit more complicated in terms of when we're APIing data out. It will come. It will not be ready in Q1, Q2 this year. It's more towards the back end of next year, and we do understand that there are many groups who have their own reporting mechanisms. They have their own ways of the internal management systems that they're using to report anyway, and even they have certain frameworks that they have to report to. So this is an important part, because some of the data that's in Restor are going to be really important for helping these organizations report on certain frameworks. So we will build that in. That will come at some point.
Okay, great, because I think it's just super helpful. It would be super helpful if you could, like, if you have your portfolio downloaded in a sort of a PDF report that you hand out to interested parties, potential donors, etc. So that would be great. Okay, and then my second question, sorry, just a very brief one. As an early adopter, how would you like to receive feedback or suggestions? Like, should we set up a call with you guys? Do you want that by email? Because obviously it goes way beyond this webinar.
Yeah,
I can take, if you want, Gwyn, this question.
Yep.
So we do it both ways. So we plan to do so bi-monthly. We can plan or monthly. It's really at your choosing. And also we plan a feedback call. And every time we'll go also on a specific feature, the usability. If already you showed the dashboard to some of your stakeholders, what did they think about it? And of course, our team is always available. So if at any time you have a question, you feel free to reach out to us directly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and we have a global team of engagement leads who will be looking after the early adopters within their region as well, so that you'll always have a go-to point person to kind of feedback and speak with as well. Rachel.
Hi there. Sorry.
Rachel, you've just muted yourself.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Oh, and then you immediately muted yourself again.
I think you should just click unmute instead of using the spacebar. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Is that better?
Yes.
Cool. Just looking at a catchment-wide project for farmers in New Zealand and being able to collate all the data about restoration work they're doing. Would that class it like, and we're talking hundreds, maybe thousands of farmers in the catchment, would that be, if it all came in through one user, would that be in the one user, or would that be outside of your 25 to 100 users?
So it's for the organization. So an organization can be working with 10 projects, 1,000 projects, 100,000 projects. So it's based on the size of the organization. So it's the organization that you work for, Rachel. So it's yeah. So if I understand it right, you're working with hundreds or thousands of different farmers, right? And you have the data for all of those like parcels of land that you want to upload to the platform. Yeah. And then you need the aggregated data for all those parcels of land.
Yeah, and they need to be able to access it to see, but I suppose they can see it through the free part.
Yeah, and you could share it with them as well. So you'd be able to share the dashboards with them. So yeah, it will be for you.
Cool. Thank you.
No worries at all. I just see hands now. Who do we have? I think Catherine or David. David, I think you go, Catherine, go. You unmuted first. You won the race. You go.
Hi, Gwen. Catherine this side from Grow Trees. So my question is, in case we adopt, like we pay for it, then what are the deliverables that we will get for adopting the Restore Insights dashboard option?
The deliverables?
Yeah, the deliverables for adopting the Restore Insights feature.
So it's the three deliverables that we mentioned on the call around the data aggregation. Self-reported data will be ready to upload by March. So when we say self-reported data, we're talking about anything that can be measured within a unit. So number of trees in the beginning, which is like the number of trees planted, survival rates, jobs created, gender equality, other sort of metrics like number of species that you're planting, like all these other metrics. So that's initially that's what will be delivered by March, and then also we'll have the beta version of the seed and having that on your sites as well. And then then it kind of comes down to this is where these feedback sessions come down to, and this is why we'll be doing multiple feedback sessions with these early adopters to kind of decide on, are there other features within scope that are required for your needs, and can we build these in? And then we'll kind of put these in the roadmap to have these milestones throughout the year. But that's something that we can kind of go into more detail with you guys on a more individual basis, depending on what your need is. Thanks.
Okay. So will we be given a team from Restore who will be helping us put this data on the platform, because it's really difficult to put those data. So will we have a designated team from Restore side, or do we have to do it manually all the time?
No, well, no, this is what we'll be building, which is is the API, which is kind of the efficiency of adding that data into the platform. So it's like less manual work. I think when you first get your sites, I know you guys were an example because you had quite a large number of sites. There's a bit of data source out that needs to be done when we bulk upload. But yeah, we do have, this is why we have our global team. We will have someone who can kind of support you throughout the process. And as the further we deepen the partnership with you as users, like the easier and the more understanding that we get from each other, what your data looks like, and like how we can kind of improve that efficiency as well. Like the whole idea for this program, the whole idea for this dashboard is that it's not going to create you more work. It's actually going to be, it's going to like be cost effective for you to use it, and it's going to help you with your reporting process as well. That's the goal that we want to achieve from this dashboard, not something else that you've got to add data to, because we know you as NGOs already have a huge amount of work where you have to, when data fatigue is a real thing. So yeah. Okay, David, I'm going to come to you because you're going to be the last question, because you've had your hand up for a while and we're running out of time.
So good afternoon to I don't know what your time says, but I have good afternoon, and greetings to all of you here. Thank you, Restor, for this opportunity. In fact, I've been looking forward to it. We tried as an organization to register an account as suppose on the side. I'm sure several times I was asking for in the chat section if there was a way we could be given some assistance to do that. I'm speaking from Ghana, representing Equitas Africa, and we truly would love to pull some bond with Restor. Even besides this, and I was also going to ask if it is possible to have a contact person in your organization, probably someone who will be having conversations with regards to things that you do and how to align that in Ghana.
Absolutely, David. So I think Ruth might be on the calls. Ruth's based in Uganda, and she does a lot of the work with groups with the NGOs and groups in Africa. So please feel free. This is why we have this global team of support. So please feel free to reach out. Ruth, if you can put your email address in the chat, and David, if you can take that, and you guys can have a bit, and Ruth can provide you a bit more one-on-one support, how to get onto the platform, how to get your sites on, and how to apply for maybe some of the prize awards that we have going on at the moment. So absolutely. Look, I just want to take a moment now to kind of thank everyone for joining us today. It's been a great session. I'm glad we whipped through the presentation and the platform demonstration to open up to some questions. There's some great questions in there, and we hope we answered them to your satisfaction. Please feel free to reach out to us. There's two quick things I want to mention that it's come up a few times in this webinar already, is the Restore Life Award. This is a prize award that we have going on at the moment. The official close date was meant to be the 28th, but we've decided to extend it by a week. So you have now until March the 7th to apply for that. It's a fantastic opportunity. There's a nice prize fund for the winner. There's also an opportunity to be invited to Ramsar COP and talk about your initiative as well. This isn't just going to be the last competition that we have with the G20 GLI. We're going to have more for the years to come. There will be more prize categories, and there'll be more awards to come as well. And lastly, we're going to put a survey in the group. I would really appreciate it if you could just take two to 5 minutes to fill out the survey at the end of this call, or we'll send it through the email as well, because there's some questions that we have in there, and we really want to hear your feedback. If anyone is interested in becoming an early adopter, please reach out to us. We can kind of go through things in more details with you and have a one-on-one call and talk you through the process as well. But once again, thank you for supporting Restore. Thank you, Beat, for being a part of the community. And we're really excited to kind of continue to build solutions to help support the community needs. So good morning, good day, or good evening to you all. Thank you for joining. Bye for now.